Hello everyone, Mimikins here. Today's video is about the HBG in the Monster Hunter Rise demo. The UI for bowguns is very similar. We have the bullets displayed under the character's health bar, as well as under the crosshairs when firing. If we look at the bottom right side, we can see the Wyvern Heart special ammo gauge. Underneath we have the ammos, with 3 additional icons which will light up depending on if the ammo has that property. The footsteps indicate that you can walk while firing. The double arrows mean you can reload while moving. And the downward arrow I'm pretty sure indicates auto reload. The heavy bowgun lacks the rapid fire option that we saw in the light bowgun demo. These are helpful additions which will make it easy to understand for anyone trying out the different bowguns. We can't see what gun we're using in the demo, but we can see the gun is capable of blocking damage. It does cause your character to slide back slightly from the impact and take minimal chip damage. You now have the option to also sidestep strafe with the heavy bowgun after firing your gun by pressing the dodge and the direction. This can be used multiple times until you run out of stamina. If you're too slow in executing this, you'll end up doing an evading roll instead, which makes your character travel further and can be performed anytime by using the B button. Heavy bowgun is now able to charge shots. It feels like I'm carrying a mini cannon. You can also block damage while charging your shot, but this will reset the charge. If you evade roll, it also cancels it. You can walk while charging it, so it's easy to find positions to fire it without putting yourself in danger. The charge shot deals increased damage, but is offset by the fact you have to spend time charging it to deal damage, as opposed to firing off 2 to 3 shots instead. I think it's incredibly useful for filling in downtime when repositioning or adjusting aim to get the most out of your hits, and maintaining that all-important critical distance. It also makes ammo go a lot further, as you will be firing off less shots. This is really useful for ammo which you can only carry a few of, such as sticky ammo. The charge shot works for every ammo I've tried apart from cluster bombs. We only got a small selection of ammo to test out in the demo, but we can see there's a whole host of ammo in the crafting menu. I've already covered this in the LBG video, so I'll just quickly flick through it for those who may be interested. Shrapnel ammo is a new type for world players, however it has been in older games. It was such a tease seeing all the new ammo types in the crafting menu but not being able to test them out. Elemental ammo has 2 types now, the regular one and also the piercing elemental. However, we didn't get to try any of the piercing elemental ammo in the demo. Dragon ammo still has a limited carry capacity, but with the heavy bowgun's charge ability, I think it could deal some beastly damage. But of course, we weren't able to test this out. I wonder if you'll be able to double charge the Wyvern ammo for some really crazy damage, since it was already a charged up attack in world, or even just having the mobility while charging it would be useful. However, this was unable to be tested out. I guess Capcom are leaving some things for when the game launches. We also have access to the Wyvern Heart special ammo, which deals a lot of damage. You still need to load it into the gun by pressing A and can unload it by pressing the same button again. The meter regenerates over time, but it can be used anytime you have even a small amount of the bar filled. The new Silkbind attack's Anchor Guard costs 2 wirebug charges and is activated by pressing R and X. It allows you to absorb an attack without taking damage and can be followed up with a counter attack using the ZR button. The window is pretty generous compared with some of the other weapon counters, and you even have time to adjust the aim. The counter-attack deals a lot of damage and is pretty fun to use. I find it particularly useful for absorbing attacks that would otherwise go through your character, because either they are powerful or they hit in such a manner they end up clipping the back of your character, making you take damage. The counter-attack does leave you a little vulnerable. If you're fighting something rough, you can choose not to fire the shot and simply use it to absorb damage. The second Silkbind attack is Free Silk Glide, which costs 1 wirebug charge. You activate it by pressing R and A. It will hurl your character forward. The description of the skill says you can follow up with a melee attack by pressing X and A, or a quick sheath by pressing Y. While playing, the quick sheath felt barely noticeable, if at all. I couldn't eyeball it just from playing, so I decided to put together a side-by-side comparison in the video, just for you all to see and also for my own reference. If Quick Sheath is in the Silkbind attack, it's definitely not to the tier 3 standard we saw in World. However, even without this Quick Sheath, this move still has incredible potential for the HBG in terms of mobility. For example, you're taking hits on the shield and your stamina is just about to give out. You can use this gun to gain some breathing room away from the monster and let stamina recover naturally. It's also useful to gain distance away from the monster to more safely take a potion or other consumable. That's just the defensive properties of the Silkbind, but it can also be used offensively as well, to catch up on a monster to maintain critical range and also getting close to fire off a powerful Wyvern ammo blast into the monster's head. I can see myself using the Silkbind a lot, especially considering how slow the heavy bowgun walks while the gun is out. I'm sure many bowgun mains have had the frustration of trying to use close range spread ammo in a group where the monster is jumping around all the members, and you feel like you're spending all your time reaching the monster and then it moves again. It was for this exact reason I prefer to use other ammo, such as piercing when I played in random SOS groups. So this is really a nice quality of life feature which will allow some flexibility with ammo types so you can vary things up when you feel like it. I think the key mappings for Silkbind attacks for all bowguns don't feel as intuitive as other weapons since different keys are used for when the weapon is sheathed and unsheathed. Make sure you turn the auto sheath off here as this makes the issue a whole lot worse. There is limited options for key mapping in the game and I'm only given the option of preset configurations. I really hope Capcom will address these issues before launch and allow players to bind how they want. It not only makes the game more enjoyable to play but more accessible. Another thing I spoke about in the light bowgun video was the introduction of the Gyroscope. This is a feature that has motion sensors in the controller that allows you to aim without having to use the stick. This is a really nice addition and I'm sure some people will prefer it, and it makes it really easy to aim once you get used to it. There are some settings you want to adjust so it suits your playstyle. For example, I didn't like having it for my own general camera angles, so I only enabled it when the crosshairs were up. There's a few nice quality of life features within the game for bowgun players, such as the ability to track ammo plants easily on the map. You can select the plant you're interested in, and each time you press L, the same button that brings up the radial menu, you will see nearby plants, which is handy for a quick glance and useful when starting off in the game. Overall, the heavy bowgun feels quite different to play with its charging shots. It feels heavy and powerful like I'm holding a cannon. I love the extra mobility option. Silkbind Glide has a lot of utility when playing the heavy bowgun and I see myself using this to great effect, even though the quick sheath effect doesn't feel worthwhile. Gyroscope is something I recommend to all bowgun players try out. Heavy bowgun is definitely powerful and a defensive weapon in Rise. It's pretty easy to play, the counters feel rewarding, Wyvern Heart is still as fun as ever to use. My only real gripe is the button mapping. I just want to be able to choose my own. Thanks for watching, please support the channel by liking and subscribing, and I'll see you next time.